Hi, I'm Mark Schneider and you're watching Schneider Classics. Today we're going to be doing a complete fluid change on my 2018 Polaris 450 Sportsman. I love this girl. So you may recognize this ATV from past episodes where we went and did these foot pegs, these awesome homemade foot pegs that I actually really adore, and also a past episode when we installed this crimpest back seat, which is so comfy, so much storage, and I love it. I will admit that. I absolutely love it. So yes, I already know this ATV has been featured on this show a lot so far. The main reason for that is ATVs need a lot of maintenance, and plus it's summer, it's my fun little toy, and it's actually cheaper than buying stuff for the 72 or the 67 or my 69, which needs a complete whole drivetrain overhaul. So for now, we're going to be working on this a lot. So I'm going to say down in the description below is actually some videos from Polaris themselves. The Polaris Off-Road channel, I'm pretty sure it's called. They have a couple videos themselves how to do the exact same things I'm doing today, but they skim over some things. They do not have any video I've seen so far on the back differential. So I may recommend, if you want to see those from Polaris themselves, those will be linked down in the description below because those are actually helpful videos I learned from. But if you want to stick around and watch the whole fluid change once and all done from a backyard mechanic, stick around and we'll get this done. I'll show you what you need to do. So from start all the way to the back of the quad, we have everything we need. This is a little bit of antifreeze. I did not make a video on this, but we did change out our radiator to an aftermarket radiator one. It was half the price. I can link a description down in the links below to what rad I put in my quad. Really good, has about twice the amount of space as the factory one. It's about twice as big, but it fits the same factory space. It's just because it was a bulkier build. That's it. That's the only difference between that rad, and it's half the price of the factory rad. So I don't understand why they didn't pick a better rad to begin with, but oh well. So I'm going to see about topping off my antifreeze, topping up my coolant because, it's been a while since we replaced the rad at the beginning of the season, so she might need a little bit just because it's a new rad, new system, whatever. Then we have our front diff system, which is demand drive fluid. Now these are going to get confusing, so make sure you have these in order. Your demand drive fluid is your front diff fluid, then oil, because I need to do an oil change on our brand new Polaris oil filter with, as you can tell, all Polaris fluids, just because Polaris machine, I want to make sure Polaris engineered lubricant. This is my oil for my oil change. Then we go over to the transmission fluid, which is gear case lubrication transmission fluid, AGL. Then also angle drive fluid. This is for the back diff. And it's really, you don't want to get these mixed up or confused because these are built for each individual system. Now, another reason I suggest going with actual Polaris stuff over anything else, Polaris built stuff for their machines because, well, they built the machine, they built the thing. I don't know of any other good oil brands for the ATV, so if you know actually a really good oil brand that's not as badly priced, let me know down in the description below. Otherwise, let's carry on. So to start to do a quick coolant check, I actually have to open up my front casing. Now, I don't actually use my front casing for any storage since we got the back seat. I actually use this to pick up garbage on the trail, so I'm hoping there's no garbage in this. You just undo each side latch and lift her up, and of course, there's garbage from the trails in here. To check your coolant, you need to take off your plate here. The center plate, which I won't lie, is not the best position, especially with this. Here's my winch cable over here. So to take this apart, you just actually can use, if you came from factory, which I do have my factory tool. If you have your little factory T-wrench from Polaris, this works perfectly for this.
You're like a blessing. Oh, I wasn't waiting for you, wasn't waiting for you.
Now, I will have to admit, if you are working with an older Polaris, I have seen some videos out there, because this right here is my brakes. If you are working with an older Polaris, you do have to take off this front little panel anyways to get to the top reservoir for your front diff. Now, with the 2018 model, Polaris just decided, no, we're going to get rid of that. So I don't have to worry about that, which I'm very fortunate that I do not have to worry about having a front diff. So let's just check my little reservoir. Yeah, I need to add a little bit to it. That makes sense. I have been using the quad a lot. I have been going on some high-end fast trails. I do not have a leak anywhere. I have looked constantly because I've been worried about that. So I just need to fill her up. Now you can pour. Best way to pour anything is from its side, just because you get a more accurate pour. Not like that where I just spilt antifreeze and coolant everywhere. Oh, getting some bubbles. Yeah, that means my reservoir is a little... Probably should have checked this and done this earlier. Oh, actually, she didn't need that much. She's going to bubble a little bit. Now I'm going to quickly close this up. Now, because I just want to cycle that through a little bit. Let's close her up. Start her up. Cycle through some of my coolant. I know with some cars, what you want to do is you just want to run it for a couple seconds and it'll go through the coolant and cycle through. I can tell the 3-rad's doing good. My factory fan is actually not doing that well, so I might have to replace it and upgrade it to a better fan. If you guys have any suggestions for a fan upgrade for my rad, leave something down in the comments. So now that that's done, we're just gonna pop her back in. Pop that all back in, nice and tight, nice and snug. Just slide my weathering back in nicely. I will recommend, because I'm doing a fluid change because I'm doing my first actual break-in fluid. Normally it does suggest in the manual to do some fluids every 50,000 kilometers. Some of them is suggested to do every 100,000, every 50 hours. Some do every 100 hours. Some of them have kilometers. Really read the manual to your machine, because your machine will tell you when the manufacturer's manual will tell you when they recommend to do proper fluid changes. Now, I'm actually maybe about 12 hours over when I'm supposed to do my break-in fluid change, which is supposed to be at 25 hours for this machine. I think I'm at 35, to be completely honest, or 36 hours on this machine. So it is time for me to break in these fluids and put in fluids, because I don't want to start breaking out my bearings. I don't want to start stripping my gears and my transmission, having problems with that type of stuff. Even though I'm still under warranty, I've only had this machine for a year, this 2018 Polaris, and I bought extended warranty. You always want to make sure you're doing proper maintenance on your machines to make sure you get the most out of them. Alright, so that's how you top off your coolant. Now, if you want to drain your coolant, there is actually a drain bolt at the bottom, but because I'm just topping off because mine is actually brand new coolant fluid anyways, I don't have to worry about draining it out. Now we moved over to the front of the Polaris. As you can see, we have our front guard here, our wheels, as you can tell. I actually did just have recently replaced from factory under warranty my right side arm, and that's because I stripped out the bearing from my wheel side of my axle, so I did replace that. But we're seared from the front. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take off this front cover so it's easier for you guys to see. Again, using the factory T-tooth tool that I got from when I bought my machine, we're just gonna... know what? Screw that. It's not enough power. Let's go actually properly get this out. Got my ratchet here with my T25. Easy break. These factory tools are great if you're on the go, because this actually will do all the bolts for the fender flares, all of these body bolts. These actually work amazing from the factory, but just for a little bit of ease and quick, ratchet comes in handy too.
I was just wasting all my time living without you, time living without you, yeah. Like a rocket on a planet, that's how I feel. You're so gorgeous and you know it, you can't be real. And you use it to confuse me, but in the best.
Ooh, lovely spider web. You can tell she's been sitting here just a little bit. So now that we have this front plate off, you don't need to take off this front plate to get to these bolts. I took it off just so you guys can see what I'm doing easier. Right here, right in front, is a bolt. This is your fill bolt. And right underneath, I'll show you guys soon, right underneath, directly underneath, is your empty bolt. Also, if you guys want to know what type of ratchets and everything I use Mastercraft. I love Mastercraft. They work well for me. They've always lasted. The reason I like them is lifetime warranty. If I ever break something, like if I break this ratchet, I break this T, which I actually do have a broken T5 in my other toolkit, I can just bring it into the counter, and they'll replace it for me. No charge, because it's lifetime warranty on these babies. So I'll show you here, right here, as you can see, here's my fill bolt, and you always want to crack this one first, because this one, if you can't crack this one, well, what's the point in draining all your fluid if you can't even fill it? And then right underneath, right below, as you can see, I've scraped some things on my skid plate. That's why the skid plate's here, is to protect everything. There's your drain bolt. So you want to fill first, drain. You want to crack this open up, see if this will crack open. Then we will crack this open and drain her out. So what you're going to want after that is you're going to want a 8mm Allan socket or Allen wrench. Now also I'm going to give a little tip. You want a rag because you want to clean off these drain bolts once you're done. Me, I don't have a proper oil drain pan. I probably should by now, but because I do oil changes all the time for everyone's vehicles, I actually cheap out. I just use my old oil containers as drain pans. So all I do is just take my knife and go cuts. Funny enough, I think this container actually has like, looks like tranny fluid or something on it. Ooh, there's actually still a little bit of good oil in here. Let me go quickly dump this in a car. Now, one big reason why I like using old oil containers is one, they already come with a cap and a drill, so once you fill it up, just keep her closed with some duct tape for a meanwhile. But then when you get over to your oil drum, your bin, your disposal bin, or putting it into another container to bring to a recycling plant, you just open up this hose, put a little funnel, and she drains right out. So like I said, the first thing you want to make sure you can do is pop this. Yeah, look, she popped. It's awesome. Open her up. Oh, she's leaking with fluid. So she was filled to the brim. Awesome, that's good. That's what we want to see. You want to check your O-ring. My O-ring actually looks pretty good. Let's clean her off. It's awesome. She looks amazing. She's already leaking fluid. She's not that black as you can tell. She's still actually a little bit clear. So that's really good. That means I'm actually changing this at a prime time here. She's leaking from the front. Let's go and crack her open. Right out. As you can see, she doesn't look that too bad. Fluid, as you can tell by my hand, she's not actually that black. So actually I could have gone away with not changing this, but know what? It's always good to be better sure than not. As you can tell, these plugs have magnetic. You can tell there's a little bit of goo and residue on the end of this. That's all the crap that's in there. You always want to make sure your bottom plug is the one with the magnet. The reason this has a magnet on it is saying like any little filings that like from wear and tear, that is normal. If you have a little bit of filings on here, that is normal. Don't have to worry about that. Just clean it off. This magnet here is actually to collect any of those files from normal wear and tear. We're then gonna let that drain out for a bit. So like I said, you can clearly tell from the bottom plug to the top plug. Bottom plug, as you can tell here, it's just got a, well, that doesn't stick very well. It just has a little light magnet to it. That magnet there is just to catch any little filings that come off of your differential. So now that she's pretty much drip free, we're going to go back and put in this socket. Now you don't need the screw in that tight. You only need a little bit of torque. I'll show you the correct torque rating on screen here. Just a little bit. You don't want her super tight. The O-ring seals are up the rest of the way. Actually, to show you a little bit, if you can see in there, the camera adjusts, you can actually see the diff gear through the hole, which is pretty cool. So now that we got that done, we want to grab our drive demand thing. Now you just want to fill this in. It starts overflowing from the top, just like you saw when I opened the plug. So let's put in my filler here, right into the hole, and just slowly fill her up. Once she starts easing out, because this is not perfectly in the hole, once it starts overflowing a little bit, that's when you know she's good to fill. Oh, there she starts going. Starts overfilling, that's when you know she's good. I'm just going to fill her a little bit extra, just to make sure. Yep, she's good. She's full. Put in that plug. Like I said, make sure your O-rings are good and sealed, because that's what really seals this up. It's not about tightness. You just put a little bit of torque on it, not very much, very low torquage. The O-ring seals it the rest of the way. So there's the front diff done. Now just put on our front skid plate again, and she's good. Next is our oil change. Oil filter, and I forgot to mention, if you buy the Polaris oil change kit, you also get a brand new underneath washer. Very important. First thing you want to do is on the one side of the thing, take off this, check our oil dipstick. Oh, she's being a little tight today. I find mine gets tight a lot. So let's just go in, use the factory pliers, just to crack her open. My oil is actually, she's used, she doesn't look that bad actually. So I'm going to say this, I am doing all my maintenance at the proper time, so like I'm saying like this, like, oh, that doesn't look that bad, it's not crispy black. One, you don't want it to be crispy black, which is a lot of times what happens around vehicles around here, because they're farm vehicles. Two, the thing is, when you are doing your first fuel changes, like I am doing for this machine, you typically have a smaller maintenance time for the first changes of the fluids, because that's your break-in. Because I'm the first one that ever owned this machine. It had no kilometers when I bought this machine, and no hours on this machine. I'm the first one to use it, so as I'm the first one to use it, it actually creates all these grinding pieces and materials. So now let's get underneath and get that small little plug. Alright, where are you? There you are. Little drain plug. Oh, I hate doing this. You have your drain plug right here, right in the middle of the skid plate. Alright, so the oil pan plug is a 9mm Allen wrench. Oh, let's crack it first. Oh, am I on tightening? I might be. Oh, there we go. Cracked her open. Drag this in here. There's not actually any metal filings on the bottom here, which is actually really good. But another magnetic bottom. Let's let that drain for a bit. See, does it taste like anything? Just tastes like used oil. Doesn't taste like it's mixed with anything, which is awesome. They need... Oh, and that's gone. That was the old seal, but that's fine. I have a new oil pan plug. Yeah, it tastes actually like pretty good oil. It doesn't actually look that used. It is definitely used and ready for a change. I'm actually surprised not a lot came out, which is actually not the best, but oh well. Definitely needed a change. Definitely used it up. Well, she looks like she's done dripping. Says you can tell there are a little bit of filing indentations. So there was a little bit of filing, but not a whole lot on the bottom here. And we want to put on our new washer seal. That's probably really close to the camera. So take out this washer seal. Don't want to lose this one because I lost the old one. So that's great. Oh. See, O-rings are one thing. You replace, you want to get a new O-ring every time. Washer's different. Now these are actually different size. Doesn't say what size it I should put on. Guess it doesn't really matter. It's copper. So let's start screwing this back in. Or no, I'm gonna let that drip for a bit more. I'll wipe this off with an old shop rag. Oh, still a little drippy. Not a lot. Ah, fuck. Yeah, I dropped my thing in here. Totally what I wanted to do. See, I should have removed the container before I dropped my socket in it. And this is why I got, this is why I gotta recommend you should be using gloves when you do a job like this, because oil can be corrosive to your hands and skin. So just be careful when you're doing this type of work. Also should be using goggles. That's lefty-loosey. I don't want lefty-loosey. Just a little bit, not a huge amount of torque. I'll put the torque rating on screen. There you go. Now time to fill her up. Oh. Next is now we gotta take off the oil filter. Now I hate where they put the oil filter on this machine. I absolutely hate it. It's horrible. Don't know why they put it where they did, but I gotta live with it. I will laugh. Your owner's manual for the 2018 450 Sportsman actually is wrong on the location. It goes, oh, it's right in the bottom. You remove a little skid plate and... Dude, I wish it was that easy. No, you gotta... I actually found out from the Polaris website, you have to put your hand all the way in the front and grab this thing. So as you can see, we kept off our front plate off. So you see our front plate from the front. Now go right there. And... right in there is our oil filter.
Like you do it, like you do it, like you just don't live, so we keep growing just like we do it, like you do it, like you. like you wanted to. Don't get insecure, baby. I like you, sure, baby. Cause that's the only way to build something amazing. And there's gonna be some bad wishes from people that don't really understand the feeling that we have. There's gonna be some bad wishes from people that don't really understand this what we have. Baby, keep loving, keep loving me just like you do it, like you do it, like you. Hips don't lift, so we keep growing just like we do it, like you do it, like you. Some bad wishes from people that don't really understand the feeling that we have. There's gonna be some bad wishes from people that don't really understand it that we have. Oh baby, keep loving, keep loving me just like you do it, like you do it, like you. Hips don't lift, so we keep growing just like we do it, like you do it, like you.
I won't lie, I had a little bit of trouble with this guy. She didn't want to turn with my little... I do a lot of oil changes. Normally I can get them done with just this, and today was not that type of day, so as you can see, what I did is I just did this and little this and used this to pry up against the frame and crack her open. She doesn't look that bad. She was definitely a pain to get off. I hate the position they put these oil filters on this Polaris. I actually prefer the little bit of the older version or the higher up versions where you go from the bottom plate. Like where it is in front, that is the worst spot you can literally put a oil filter because it's the hardest to get to. I would suggest taking off your one tire for more room, but I'm a small little narrow guy, so I can get in there without taking out the tire. To be quite honest, she actually doesn't look like she has a lot of use. She's not done because I had to dent her because she wouldn't come undone, but how the steel feels, the threads feel inside, she doesn't look that bad. The oil is about half used, but I can smell there's a bit of burning in it, so it's obviously burning off some of the oil somewhere, and we're just left with the good remnants. This is probably the proper time to do the train. So now it's time to put on our new filter. Just gonna grab a fresh new thing of oil. Normally if it's cars or whatever, I just kind of dip my finger in the old oil. If it's a vehicle I don't care about, like an old farm truck. But proper way is pop a little of this oil. Just then you put a little dab on here, and you want to make sure this seal is nice and lubed up, so when you slide her in, she slides in good. Put a little more. Lube it nice up. There, nice and oiled up. It even says right here on the filter, 3/4 turn stop. So you don't want to over tighten this. Not like my last one was. So, let's get back in here. So nice turn, turn, turn. I actually have a little marker on mine to match up with the oil filter where I want it turned. Right there. Perfect. Oh, that was not hard at all. I don't get why whoever tightened that one on beforehand was a jerk. Oh, now I gotta crawl out here. Oh, that's not fun at all. Not at all. Let's stick our nozzle in. Start pouring in some oil. Now, the amount of oil you get from the kit should be enough to fill the machine. So just be careful on that. I will tell you this, funnels, especially funnels with extensions, help out a lot. Especially on ATVs. On trucks and vehicles and stuff you can get away with it, but on an ATV you can't get away without having it. Otherwise, you're just going to be swearing and cussing the whole damn time. Check. Doesn't seem like we have any leaks. I don't see any leaks. Awesome. Yeah, with 1 quart, she's just at the bottom of the thing. Now the kit comes with 2 quarts because she should just take 2 quarts. If you need a little bit of extra, make sure you have extra on hand. Oh, more than enough full. Yeah, filled just above the line. Well, that's fine. She'll use it. Now, just after an oil change, so I still have half a container here. You always want to make sure, because when the machine runs, it'll cycle through all that oil through the new fuel filter and stuff, because as you saw when I pulled the fuel filter, it actually drained a little bit as well. So, yeah, this is the one with still in it. So just make sure to be careful. I gotta wipe all this down now. Any leaks? I don't see no leaks. It's normally a good sign. Let's hear her purr. She purrs good. Now, time to move onto the transmission. So now it's for the transmission fluid. I also just noticed on my unit, I don't need angle drive fluid. I don't have a back diff. My back diff, funny enough, is connected all into my transmission. It's all one unit, which is actually really cool. And that means I spent like 40 bucks on fluid I don't need, but whatever, it'll sit in the shop for when I have to do someone else's quad. So right now we gotta go, as you can see, that little bolt in there. Oh, very hard to see. That bolt right there, that's our fill plug, so let's break that open. Nope.
You're like a blessing. Oh, I wasn't waiting for you, wasn't waiting for you. Yeah, I was just wasting all my time living without you, time living without you. Yeah, like a rocket on a planet, that's how I feel.
Inspect my O-ring. O-ring looks good, she looks good, awesome. Now the fun one. You will notice on this one, it does say drain, so just be careful on that. Oh. Oh. Fit that right in there. Let's try not to lose it in the pan this time. Great, I just spilled that all over myself. Ooh, there's a lot more wear on this one. It's a lot more wear than I wanted to see. I mean, you can tell by these metal shavings. Just a little bit of wear on my back diff and transmission.
You're so gorgeous, and you know it. You can't be real, and you use it to confuse me, but in the best ways. You make my day, baby. Keep loving, keep loving.
All right, time to put that drain plug back in. Where did I put it? After inspecting my O-ring, she looks good. Oh. Now this time, we're gonna move this. I'll put the torque rating up on screen. Just like the other ones, you fill her till she starts draining. So like I said, with earlier models, you normally have a, like the 2016 Polaris, you will have for your front diff a front reservoir right beside your coolant reservoir. And also if you have a 2016, you will actually have a separate back diff thing that you will have to do. I have the back diff fluid. I don't have a back diff. Now I understand why on the Polaris website on YouTube they don't actually have any information on it, because the quad doesn't have one. It's just connected into the trans. So that's a nice little feature. I wish I saved 40 bucks there, but whatever, I'll use that for the next quad. So now I just gotta tidy up a little bit of things, tighten a few bolts, make sure they're nice and tight. Make sure that I've thrown all the torque specs up on screen, everything you need for this job. It's pretty awesome to get done. So I'm gonna tidy up all my tools, tidy up this, and then we're gonna take her for a quick run. Time to get going.
Oh, I was waiting for you, yeah, I was just wasting. Oh my time living without you, time living without you, yeah. Like a rocket on a planet, that's how I feel. You're so gorgeous, and you know it. You can't be real, and you use it to confuse me, but in the best ways. You make my day, baby. Keep loving, keep loving me just like you do it, like you do it, like you. This don't live, so we keep growing just like we do it, like you do it, like you.
So I'm no longer in my jumpsuit, just here in the office looking at things, and I gotta say this. Let's do better lighting here. I love my ATV. I love doing that. It was actually pretty good to do my own fluid changes. Now I'm pretty sure all 2018s to 21s all 2018s to 2021 should be the same for fluid changes. So I hope this video helps you with that. If you have a little bit of an older model, I will link also a video down in the description below for older model ATVs, especially like the 2016 kind of era of ATV. Those, like I said, you need. I was actually prepared to do a fluid change on that type of ATV, and turns out I have completely different ATV engine setup. So I'm going to link down in the description below both ATVs if you guys want to go and see how I prepped for this, as well as to show you guys some reliable sources to look for questions and all that. If you have any questions, go down in the description below. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope to see you guys in the next video. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Schneider Classics. Subscribe for more and hit that bell notification if you want to be notified on any type of automotive quad, all that fun stuff for the channel. See you guys in the next episode.
Feel something amazing, and there's gonna be some bad wishes from people that don't really understand the feeling that we have. There's gonna be some bad wishes from people that don't really understand this what we have. Keep loving me just like you do it, like you do it, like you